Alex Hormozi is brilliant. The guy has built multiple $100 billion companies, and his content has fundamentally transformed how millions of people think about business. His book, $100 Million Offers, is a masterpiece. I have massive respect for what he's accomplished. But he's wrong about something crucial, dead wrong. And it's leading thousands of creators and entrepreneurs down a path that looks like success, but feels like a prison. This isn't about disrespect. Hormozi's strategies, they work. They generate revenue, they build companies, but there is a fundamental disagreement that I have with his core philosophy. And I think it's time someone said it out loud. Because if you've ever felt exhausted by the do more volume advice, if you've ever wondered whether building a bigger business is worth sacrificing your life, and if you've ever questioned whether Alex's path is the only path to success, this conversation is for you. But a quick intro, if you're new here, I'm Alex Semenzato. I help creators and consultants build high profit, low stress businesses that don't require you to post like a maniac, be on 24/7, or sell your soul to algorithms. I was in the creator economy before it had a name, helping brands like Nike, Meta, Snap, Bombay Sapphire, and Warner Brothers build creator partnerships back when people still thought influencers were just kids online. Then I built community-led businesses, ran 200 plus events between the UK and US, and learned what actually scales and what secretly destroys creators. Now I share everything here so you can build smarter, earn more, and keep your life intact. So let's get into it. The Hormozi Philosophy. Let me first acknowledge what Hormozi gets right. His understanding of value creation, offer construction, and business fundamentals, it's world-class. When he talks about making offers so good they feel stupid saying no, he's absolutely correct. His approach to business operations, systems thinking, and scaling methodologies, all brilliant. The guy understands how to build big businesses better than almost anyone. But here's where we diverge. And it's a fundamental disagreement about what actually creates freedom and fulfillment. Hormozi's core message can be summarized in 3 words. Do more volume. More outreach, more calls, more content, more activities, more everything. And when someone isn't getting results, his answer is always the same. You're not doing enough volume, not enough calls, not enough outreach, not enough activity. And mathematically, he's not wrong. More activities usually equal more results. More calls usually equal more sales, and more content usually equals more audience. But here's what that philosophy creates in practice. A business that requires you to be a machine. Let me paint you a picture of what the volume approach looks like in real life. You wake up at 5 a.m. to get ahead of the day. You spend 2 hours creating content before your first sales calls at 8 a.m. You have back-to-back calls until lunch, which you eat while responding to emails. Your afternoon is more calls, more outreach, and more activities, and then you end your day at 8 p.m., exhausted, only to realize that you need to prep for tomorrow's content and follow up on today's leads. And you fall asleep thinking about metrics and wake up thinking about activities. Yes, you're making more money, maybe good money, and maybe great money, but you've also built a business that owns you completely. The only way to maintain your income is to maintain the volume. Take a vacation, revenue drops. Get sick? Well, your pipeline suffers. Want to spend time with family? Your business demands attention. You haven't built a business, you've built a very expensive job with yourself as the only employee who can't actually quit. The different game. Now let me describe a different approach. What if instead of optimizing for volume, you optimized for leverage? Instead of doing more things, you did fewer things better. What if instead of making 100 calls to close 10 deals, you created such a valuable reputation that 10 people called you ready to buy? What if instead of creating content 7 days a week, you created one piece of content so valuable that it worked for you for months? What if instead of building a business that required constant feeding, you built a business that fed itself? This isn't about being lazy or doing less work, it's about working on fundamentally different problems. Hormozi optimizes for scaling big businesses with teams and systems, and that requires volume because you're building something bigger than yourself. But what if you don't want that? What if you want freedom, not an empire? And what if you want simplicity, not complexity? What if you value your time more than revenue? The lifestyle business philosophy. Let me be clear about something. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to build a big business. If your goal is to create a $100 million company, employ thousands of people, and change entire industries, then Hormozi's approach is probably right for you. But that's not where most course creators and coaches and consultants want to do. They want freedom and they want flexibility. They want to make great money without sacrificing their life. They want what I call a lifestyle business, a business designed to serve your life instead of consuming it. And for a lifestyle business, the volume approach, it's not just wrong, it's counterproductive. The math of lifestyle business. Let me show you the math that Hormozi doesn't talk about. So scenario A, the Hormozi way. You build a business that does $2 million per year, you work 60 hours a week, manage a team of 15 people, deal with constant operational challenges, and take home $400,000 after expenses and taxes. Then scenario B, the lifestyle way. You build a business that does $600,000 per year, you work 20 hours a week, have no employees, minimal overhead, and take home $400,000 after expenses and taxes. Both scenarios result in the same personal income, but which one gives you more freedom? In scenario A, you're trapped by your success. The business needs you constantly. You have payroll management responsibilities and operational complexity and anxiety. In scenario B, you have time freedom, location freedom, and decision freedom. You can travel, spend time with family, pursue other interests, or just have time to think. Hormozi would call scenario B small thinking. I call it smart thinking. The hidden costs of scale. Here's what the go bigger philosophy doesn't account for. The hidden costs of scale. When you build a big business, you don't just get more revenue, you get more problems. More people to manage and more systems to maintain, more complexity to navigate. You trade time freedom for financial freedom. You trade simplicity for scale. You trade peace of mind for bigger numbers. And for what? So you can say you built a real business? So you can hit some arbitrary revenue milestone? So you can impress other entrepreneurs? Meanwhile, the person running the smaller, simpler business is on a beach in Thailand, working 2 hours a day, making the same net income that you are. The prestige problem. Part of the issue is what I call the prestige problem. In the entrepreneurship space, there's this enormous pressure to build big, bigger revenue, bigger team, bigger market share. Small businesses get looked down on as lifestyle businesses, as if that's something inferior to building an empire that you can't escape. But here's what I've learned from studying hundreds of successful entrepreneurs. The ones who seem happiest and most fulfilled aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest businesses. They're the ones whose businesses serve their life vision. Some people's life vision includes building massive companies and changing the world. Great, Hormozi's approach is perfect for them. But for others, life vision includes freedom, family time, travel, hobbies, relationships, and personal growth. For these people, the volume approach is a trap disguised as success. Quality over quantity. Let me give you some practical examples of how this plays out. For content creation, the Hormozi approach is post daily across all platforms, create massive volume of content to maximize reach. The lifestyle approach, create one piece of exceptional content per week that provides so much value that it gets shared everywhere organically. For sales, the Hormozi approach, make 100 calls a day, play the numbers game, optimize for volume. The lifestyle approach, build such a strong reputation that qualified prospects seek you out. For customer acquisition, the Hormozi approach, maximize touch points, automate outreach, scale through systems. The lifestyle approach, focus on customer success and word of mouth referrals. The lifestyle approach takes longer to build initially, but it compounds differently. Instead of requiring constant input to maintain output, it becomes self-sustaining. The leverage principle. The fundamental difference comes down to leverage. Hormozi focuses on linear leverage. If you want 10x results, do 10x more activities. The lifestyle approach focuses on exponential leverage. If you want 10x results, find activities that compound and multiply without requiring 10x input. Here's how this works in practice. Instead of optimizing for more sales calls, optimize for higher close rates. Instead of creating more content, create content that works for you long term. Instead of reaching more people, focus on attracting the right people. Instead of building bigger systems, build simpler systems that require less maintenance. The time arbitrage strategy. One of the biggest advantages of the lifestyle approach is time arbitrage. When you're not trapped in constant activity, you can think strategically about your business. You can spot opportunities that the volume people miss because, well, they're too busy executing to strategize. You can pivot quickly when market conditions change because you're not locked into complex systems and large teams. You can experiment with new approaches because failure doesn't threaten payroll and overhead. Most importantly, you can focus on the 20% of activities that drive 80% of results instead of trying to optimize everything. When Hormozi is right. Okay, let me be fair here. There are situations where Hormozi's approach is absolutely correct. If you're in a winner-take-all market where scale creates competitive moats, you need volume. If you're building a venture-backed company where growth rate matters more than profitability, you need volume. If your personal fulfillment comes from building large organizations and impacting thousands of employees, you need volume. If you're in a low-margin business where efficiency only comes at scale, you need volume. But for most creators, coaches, and consultants, these conditions, they don't apply. They're in markets where small, nimble businesses can thrive indefinitely. The choice point. This brings us to the fundamental choice point that most entrepreneurs never consciously make. Do you want to build a big business or a good business? Do you want to maximize revenue or maximize your freedom? Do you want to be known for your company size or your lifestyle design? Do you want to optimize for external validation or personal satisfaction? Neither choice is wrong, but they lead to completely different strategies and completely different lives. Hormozi has made his choice clear. He's optimizing for scale, impact, and building big businesses, and he's incredibly successful at it. But that doesn't mean it's the only path or even the best path for everyone. The alternative success metrics. Here's what success looks like in the lifestyle business model. Time freedom. You control your schedule completely. Location freedom. You can work from anywhere. Decision freedom. You don't need permission or consensus to change direction. Relationship freedom. Your businesses don't interfere with your personal relationships. Energy freedom. You're not constantly drained by business operations. And yes, financial freedom too, but financial freedom, it's measured by net income, not gross revenue. Measured by what you keep, not what you make. So here's my challenge to you. Before you accept the do more volume advice, ask yourself what you're actually trying to build. Are you trying to build the biggest business possible or the best business for your life? Are you trying to maximize revenue or maximize freedom? Are you building something to impress other entrepreneurs or something that serves your personal vision? If your answer is scale and growth and big numbers, then follow Hormozi's advice. He's brilliant at building big businesses. But if your answer is freedom and simplicity and lifestyle design, then maybe it's time to consider a different approach. Because at the end of your life, you won't be remembered for your revenue numbers, you'll be remembered for how you lived, who you impacted, and whether you are true to your own vision of success. Hormozi isn't wrong for everyone, but he might be wrong for you. The question is, what kind of life do you actually want to build? Sweet, that was sick. See you in the next one, team.